Hey, this is Mike with Christian Meds. This week I just want to talk about just being kind with all the things going on in the world, especially in my own country, the United States. I just think people need to hear to be kind to one another. So let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of being kind, I looked up some scriptures. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7. This is love is patient, love is kind. Love does not envy, love does not boast. It is not proud, it does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking, it is not angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always preserves. So, I know this is a lot more about love than it is about kindness, but they kind of go hand in hand. You know, when I see, people getting stirred up into a riot type situation, and it breaks my heart, especially when the majority of the world looks at those people as Christian, because the Christian church has backed Donald Trump a lot, So when I see a correlation there, and then I see people acting this way, it just breaks my heart. It absolutely just hits home, and just like we have so much work to do within the church to teach people to be kind to one another, to really care about one another. Now I realize people are not going to always agree. People are always going to say, this is the true set of facts and that's the true set of facts. That's not what I'm trying to get into. What I'm just trying to say is we just need to stay civil, Let the truth come out, The truth will set people free, and the truth is Jesus Christ, There is an ultimate truth. We need to grab a hold of that and claim that as Christians, and part of that, is trying to live out the greatest commandment, and trying to live out the golden rule. The golden rule is a couple different places, at least in the Bible. The first place is Matthew 7:12. It says, in everything, therefore, treat people the same way you'd want them to treat you. For the law of the prophets, for this is the law of the prophets, right? I mean, that's pretty clear, And then in Mark, it says 12:31. It says, the second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these. I mean, that is the golden rule, So when I see people who have attacked the Capitol, and I hear of over 40 officers being injured and one dying from that attack, besides other people dying within that same mayhem, how are you saying that you're not dishonoring others? You can't say that. You can't have both ways. You can't somehow find a righteousness within that act. It just doesn't exist. So, the other scripture that I kind of came up with was Colossians 3:12. It says, therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe themselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. That's the type of people we're supposed to be. That's the type of people that we're supposed to stand apart from society. That's what I'm trying to call people to. That's what I want this channel to be about, inspiring people to be better than they were yesterday, and the strength and passion and compassion comes from the Lord, doing the Lord's work, preaching the truth of the gospel, When I look at, the things that happened, it just breaks my heart, like I said before, I kind of get what Trump was trying to say when he says, we love you, but I was trying to understand the concept of what he was trying to say behind that. You know, is he saying, I love you because I could control you to a point that I could rile you up to a riot? Or, you know, or is he saying, I love you because you're part of the human race? Well, if that's true, you're supposed to love everybody across the board. So all those police officers that people were breaking down barriers, you're supposed to love those people, you know? All the people inside, you know, whether they're Democrat or Republican, you're supposed to love all those people, you know? And you're supposed to treat them the way you want to be treated if the roles were reversed, you know? And you're supposed to do it with kindness, you know, gentleness and respect. This is what we're called as Christians. And when I see things that don't line up, I've got to call them out, you know? And it's not a Democratic thing or a Republican thing, it's a God thing. God's telling us to be patient. God's telling us to be kind, you know? And if you were a Christian and you were part of that crowd, you need to give yourself a reality check. And you need to say, was I doing what was right in the eyes of the Lord? Because you're going to have to give an account for your actions here on this planet, just like I am. You know, I'm going to have to give an account for everything I record on this channel, you know. And I fear God a lot more than I fear somebody saying, you know, a negative comment about me. So that's just some of my thoughts this week. It really, you know, hit a nerve for me. I'm sorry if I was, you know, not as kind as I could have been. But this hits home. You know, I really care about the gospel. I really care about truth. I really care about presenting Christians in a bright light on top of the hill. And we were not a bright light this week. There's no way. You know, and I don't know what all the pastors are going to say this weekend. But this is the way I felt this weekend. I needed to talk. So, have a blessed week.